All right, we're going to continue from looking at how we align assessments and standards to going on to the design cycle that we're going to use, this process. So basically, there's 3 steps. One is to identify the desired results. So before we plan any instruction, we start by thinking, what do I want my students to learn? And there's the standards and also the essential question that we'll be talking about with that. Then we're going to determine what is evidence of them have learning that. And that's why we just did the activity on the LLM to kind of get a warm up of thinking about those standards and assessment, how they go together. And then once you do that, then you can move on to planning their learning experiences. So, desired results, there's 2 parts. The big picture, and this is where essential questions come in, and then standards. And we're going to be working both with the content standard from different content areas and the ISTE standard. So the essential question, this is a big question and it connects to real world issues. It requires investigation. It can have multiple responses and answers. So one essential question that I started this unit with was, why were grades invented? And that is something we can have different discussions about. And it can lead to us thinking about assessment, what it means to learn different knowledge, what's happening in schools. So it connects this content to a bigger context, all right? Now, I'm going to give you a link to an ISTE video, and I want you to tell me at some point in this video, the teacher says something that's kind of an essential question, and I want you to guess what that essential question is. Okay, I'm going to play it for you from partway through. I think it's around here.
And whatever direction they go, I'll guide them. So one year we'll say, okay, we're gonna pick up objects. The next year we're gonna open up gates. This year's topic is about the environmental challenge. Basically, they're gonna learn how can we help clean up the ocean. What kind of tools can we do that?
Okay, so there is a big real world question. They're doing this engineering and this project, but they're really looking at the big idea of how we can clean up the ocean, right? They're connecting it bigger. And that's what they're going to remember, right, out of what they learn. And it's going to help them create a framework for how to think about. It's a little tricky at first. So, of course, I created an AI prompt called Essential Questions. And it's going to guide you through thinking about and developing an essential question. And you can do this, it's going to ask you a topic and grade level. You can do this based on your topic for the Canvas shell, or you can just try something else out. So you're going to go ahead and copy this prompt. Now, when you do this, you've already done something in the LLM. I would like you to start a new chat because that restarts the topic. And when chats get long, it can get confusing because the model is using all the information above it. And so you want to be deliberate about when you do that. So go ahead and paste this in. Remember to keep your brain on and go ahead and have that discussion. I just put, what did I just paste? I pasted the wrong thing because I pasted the previous thing. I didn't copy this right. Hold on. So we're going to copy this. And when I do that, I also start a new chat because I want to start fresh. Okay. Or I can edit that post, but it's up there. Okay. So we're going to start this and let's get started. What topic or unit? So let's say I'm doing 2nd grade fractions, right? And it's going to help me think through what essential question. So you can put things like, I really don't know. And it can kind of help you think through it, okay? And so really use your brain and work with the LLM. Don't just let it give you something, right? Be responsible for your own learning and think about it. So you're going to do that. And when you're done, use that same prompt we've been using to get a log. This prompt right here, and get a log. Okay, now you have an essential question. We're going to go on to standards. So we're going to be trying to connect this essential question with standards. And remember, we're looking at the content standards and the ISTE standards and trying to combine them. Okay. So the reason we do this is it's important to think about when you're a teacher in school, there's tons of standards you have to get through. And it's hard to also think of these technology things. But when we think about technology literacy, we don't need to use technology just by itself. It's integrated with other content, and they need to be able to use the technology in intelligent ways that brings in the other ideas and content and gives them a purpose behind it for that literacy piece. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So we have an LL prompt for that, which is standards and authentic assessments. Um, so this is going to help you brainstorm. It's going to help you identify standards and brainstorm some authentic assessment ideas and customize it. All right. So go ahead and do this just like the other ones. Copy it, start a new chat, and then make sure that when you're done, you save the log because you're going to be submitting that. Okay, so what you just did is you went from the standards and desired results to what evidence of that using authentic assessment, the evidence of it. Okay, so we've done step 1 and 2. The next part is going to be breaking that down to the actual learning experiences and instruction. So we start with the big picture and then we break it down. And can it really help our learning be much more authentic and engaging, even aside from the grades? So, just as a quick review, remember we want standards, we want assessment that actually assesses the standards we're looking at. We want to think of the big essential questions that we're focused on. And we identify the desired results and acceptable evidence to start with, and then we can create the lesson. So, what I want you to do is make sure that you go in and you complete this assignment that's assessment in standards AI logs. Go ahead and submit the logs from the AI conversations you've had. You can submit multiple files. That's probably the easiest way, or you can copy them all onto Word document. That's how it is there. Thanks.